All right, today we're tackling one of the heavy hitters, one of the most powerful and honestly recognizable cards in the entire tarot deck. Card number 11, Justice. It's this huge symbol of balance, fairness, and some pretty profound truth. And really getting a handle on it? Well, it can bring some serious clarity into our lives. So let's jump in and find our balance. And here she is, right, in all her solemn glory. The image probably feels super familiar, doesn't it? I mean, we see versions of this figure everywhere. Think courthouses, legal symbols, you name it. But in the world of tarot, every single detail you see here is just packed with meaning. It's all guiding us toward a much, much deeper understanding of what fairness and consequence are all about. And that really brings us to the central question we're exploring today. What does it actually mean to be fair? It's so much more than just rules and laws. It's about perception, it's about objectivity, and it's about that kind of, radical honesty that can literally change everything. So, to really grasp what justice is trying to tell us, we've got to start by decoding its powerful symbols. Seriously, every single object this figure holds or is surrounded by, it's like a key, just waiting to unlock its message. Okay, let's start with the most obvious symbol, right? The one held in her left hand, the scales. And believe me, this isn't just some random accessory. Nope, it's pretty much the heart of the card's entire meaning. These scales, they represent the absolute need for balance and impartiality. They're here to remind us, to weigh every single side of an issue, to actually listen to all perspectives, and to gather all the facts before we even think about making a judgment. This is all about making a choice with total awareness, completely free from emotion or bias. All right, now let's shift our focus to her other hand. Because while the scales are all about weighing the evidence, that double-edged sword she's holding, that's poised and ready to act. This is the tool of decision. So that sword, it represents the clear, sharp power of our intellect. And it's double-edged for a reason. Because decisions, they almost always have consequences for more than one person, right? Its whole job is to cut right through all the confusion, the emotion, the illusion, and just get to the absolute heart of the matter. It's the force of truth made real. And finally, let's look at the structure that's framing her, those two pillars. Now, if you've been around the tarot a bit, these might ring a bell. They probably remind you of the pillars on the High Priestess card. And guess what? That connection is absolutely intentional. See, these pillars represent structure, universal order. Basically, the established laws that govern our reality. They're telling us that justice doesn't just operate in a vacuum. It functions within a system of really sound principles. It's a great contrast, actually. The High Priestess's pillars open up to a world of intuition, but these pillars, they open to a world that's governed by logic and consequence. Okay, so we've looked at all the physical symbols. Now let's connect them to the intellectual energy that's really powering this card. Its elemental association. Justice is a card of the element air, and air is the realm of the mind. We're talking thought, logic, communication, and truth. Think of it like a cool, clear breeze of objectivity that just blows away the fog of emotion and confusion. And this connection to air is what firmly links justice to the suit of swords. I mean, the swords are all about the challenges and the triumphs of the mind. They deal with truth, fairness, and the ethical principles we try to live by, which makes this suit the absolute perfect home for the ideals of justice. And what's really interesting is seeing how this connection actually plays out in the deck. Just look at the Justice card right next to the King of Swords. The visual echo there is just undeniable, right? The King of Swords literally sits in judgment. He embodies all those principles of law, authority, and clear-headed intelligence. You could say he's the human manifestation of the virtue of justice itself. Okay, so we have the symbols and we have the elements. But what's the core philosophical lesson of justice? Well, it pretty much boils down to one of the most fundamental laws of the entire universe. Cause and effect. That's it. At its very heart, justice is the card of karma. It's here to remind us that our lives aren't just some series of random events. Nope, they're a direct result of the choices we've made. And it's a super simple two-step process. First, you have the cause. An action you took, a decision you made, maybe a word you spoke. And then, inevitably, comes the effect, which is the reality you are living in right now. Justice is asking you to see that unbreakable, direct line between the two. So, the crucial point here is this. When the Justice card shows up, it's a sign that the consequences of your past actions are finally coming to fruition. Whether that's for good or for ill, the bill has come due. Okay, so with all that in mind, let's bring this down to earth. What does this card actually mean when it shows up in a reading for you? How does it apply to real life? When justice appears, think of it as a powerful call to action. It's a signal that a moment of truth has arrived. It's time. Time to make that important choice, to finally take responsibility for your actions, to settle any old debts, and to really operate from a place of integrity and fairness. This is your moment to step up and do what's right. And to see this even more clearly, let's put justice up against a card that's almost its opposite, the Two of Swords. Where justice is all about facing the truth with your eyes wide open, the Two of Swords is about choosing to be blindfolded. It represents being stuck in a stalemate, actively avoiding the facts and just refusing to make a decision. See the difference? Justice is accountability in action. The Two of Swords is the paralysis that comes from trying to avoid it. So, we'll end with a question for you to really think about. The Justice card asks us all to live with integrity and with awareness. So, what one truth, whether it's in your relationships, your work, or maybe just within yourself, are you being called to face with clarity and absolute fairness right now?